emotion or idea often used in poetry.
Volta is a story about being true to oneself, fulfilling one's true potential, and recognizing one's own power to make it possible.
More information about Cirque du Soleil Volta can be found at cirquedusoleil.com.
All right, we are back.
I'm actually pretty interested in that. I
want to see it. I want to see it. It's going to be right here at the Nassau Coliseum.
Interpretive dance is stupid.
You're stupid.
Just because you can't do it, Joe.
No argument there.
Yeah. The dent on his head.
So, we're going to be talking Infinity War.
Oh my God, I almost said something else. Oh man, he actually does have a dent on his head.
He
Look
does.
At that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on, someone walked in. Do I have a dent on my head?
Yes.
What?
That's our director, Sean Novat.
Who just gave us something, by the way, because I totally forgot about this. We got hooked up.
We got hooked on phonics. Nice. Now I can finally read good.
As opposed to the lesser known variant hooked on chronic.
Our
buddies,
I used to do that.
Our buddies over at the Cradle of Aviation.
Nice. Love those guys.
Good friends of ours. They hooked us up with giveaways to the Cradle of Aviation arcade cabinet thingamajiggy.
Oh, yeah!
Which they don't have anymore. But they have CradleCon coming up, which is a comic book, collectible, and pop culture con happening at the Cradle of Aviation Sunday, June 20. I had to build a dramatic effect. Sunday, June
I saw
24.
the loading bar in the dent on your forehead.
Yeah. Meet and greet comic book creators, find rare books and toys. Cosplayers can show off their work. It's for all ages. It's for the fans, by the fans.
For the people, by the people.
With the people.
It's going to be all that weekend, but I guess this ticket giveaway for Sunday.
And we're going to be there.
Yes.
We're going to be there, too.
Oh, we're doing the live show.
No.
Right?
Potentially.
Oh.
No word on that. Way to spoil, made everyone's hopes up, Colton.
But you know what? You know who's going to be there? Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
Really?
Of the
Rick and Morty
who they just announced they're doing 70 episodes. Did
Dan
you guys see
Harmon's
that?
going to be there?
Yeah.
Well, he put it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, Twitter, it's everywhere.
You know who won't be there? Margot Kidder won't be there.
Yeah.
Stop!
So, if you want, in the last 10 minutes of the episode, we're going to give away these tickets. We have 2 tickets to give away. The last 10 minutes. So at
this is a great convention.
350, we're going to give away tickets, and we're going to be doing those for a little while, so make sure you keep tuning in.
I cannot
We'll be giving away
believe
sporadically during the show. So, at 6. At 3, I'm losing my mind. It's
my
stupid.
The dent.
The dent is getting bigger.
Joe,
350 call
get it together.
So they used to have EternalCon at the Cradle of Aviation, and I loved it. But last year they moved it to the basement of Nassau Coliseum, and I liked that. But
Huge
I miss it being at the Cradle of Aviation. The lighting. You actually had actual sunlight in there. I like the layers. There were 3 floors. I know it was a little
ventilation.
Yeah.
God, did we need that?
Yeah, it was still pretty bad though. Actually, it was really jam packed. But I love that. Colton, I know you've gone to EternalCon when it was at the Cradle of Aviation. So now they brought back a convention there. So there is EternalCon at Nassau Coliseum this summer and CradleCon this summer as well. So we got 2 comic conventions in like a month span. This is going to be really cool.
And
great.
After that, the retro video gaming convention at the Cradle.
Yes, that's going to be in August.
There's a lot of good stuff this summer. And I believe William Shatner was going to be at EternalCon.
Yes, sir.
So
if he lives.
Really?
Yeah, if he makes it. Margot Kidder didn't, so.
No.
Stop!
Rest
Enough!
in peace, Margot.
You know who didn't make it?
War.
Yes, a lot of people in Infinity War are dead.
Black Panther.
So.
Also Han Solo.
Oh, Han Solo, real quick, they're making this movie, but the weird thing is it's a prequel, and you kind of get the backstory to Han Solo, which, we don't really need to know. But the strange thing is, Harrison Ford was 33 when he made A New Hope. This kid's 28 years old when making this one, which is so outrageous. At least the prequels were interesting because you saw characters that were like 40 years in the past. So you saw an old Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then you got to see one in his mid-20s, which was interesting. This makes no sense because Harrison Ford was, his character was 30 in A New Hope, and now he's 27 in this one? Yeah. It makes 0 sense that they're doing this.
Whatever the case is, I hope this movie well. I hope it proves us wrong. I know that no matter what, the biggest persisting thing in Star Wars right now is that an Obi-Wan Kenobi prequel, or a mid-quel, because they want it to happen between Episode 3 and A New Hope, to explain what Obi-Wan did. Because we have a little backstory from the Rebels TV show, but people really want to see Ewan McGregor get back into Obi-Wan's shoes, because he was probably the only redeeming factor of the prequel movies.
Well, listen to this. So Jon Favreau, who directed Iron Man, 1 and 2.
How'd you say that? What's his name?
John Favreau.
Okay.
How do you say it?
I just wanted to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah. So he's a good director. You know, he did Swingers. He's an actor in a bunch of movies. He's in a bunch of the Marvel films. He was in Rudy back in the day.
Rudy.
So he confirmed setting and script sets of the Star Wars live-action series. So Lucasfilm announced in March that producer, actor, and director Jon Favreau of Iron Man, The Jungle Book, and he's also doing the new Lion King, has signed on to executive produce and write a live-action Star Wars TV series for Disney's new direct-to-consumer platform. Now, he has confirmed that development is pretty far along, with half of the Season 1 scripts already written, and told Nerdist that the series will take place 7 years after Battle of Endor in Return of the Jedi. Oh, so it's after.
So this is before Episode 5.
No.
I mean not 5.
7.
6.
7.
7.
Yeah.
8,
and Endor
9.
is...
10?
All right, so this is after Episode 6. Favreau also stated that the show will feature all new characters and using cutting-edge CGI motion capture technology similar to his Jungle Book and Lion King movies. This is cool stuff. You know
what I want to see?
Should be interesting.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a Star Wars war movie that has to just you follow like a squad of rebels just doing things, and I want it to be like rated R. I want it to be crazy. I want to be war. I want to see the war side of Star Wars that you never.
They already
get to see.
did with that stupid Rogue One.
Nah, that wasn't really it. There's still like super people there or whatever. I want to see guys that like there's a squad and like kind of like Halo Reach where like all these guys like in like real war get like killed and replaced like real war. Like you don't really get attached to anyone because it is what it is. The
Watch
Empire's
Game of Thrones. You don't get attached to anybody.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of not being attached to a character. You know,
you're attached to like maybe like the sergeant or the guy who's like running it, or like maybe like
come on.
or like the lovable new guy. But like I want it to be like nobody's safe. Like this is like the Empire gets like one good shot off and like someone gets hit, and now you're like, well, there you go.
I wouldn't mind if they don't make another Star Wars thing for 10 years.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it right now.
I think they're way oversaturated.
I think all of this. I think all of Marvel. It's never going to happen because all of them make money and more money as the next one goes on and on. I want to see superhero movies take a 5-10 year break. I want to see Star Wars specifically because that's such a a narrow genre. How much can you do with just one thing? At least superheroes, you could do stuff with different heroes that haven't been done already. But this is just. They're just milking it.
I honestly think you're going to see that because
I don't know.
With Marvel, I think you'll see them take a 5 year hiatus.
No way.
Because
they got the whole next 10 years set up already.
Nah, they only have 5 or 6 years.
I don't know. I don't know.
But my thing is, I think once they've beaten Thanos, which it's going to happen eventually, and you've set up the world in a way that is where what's going to happen. It's a happy ending for everyone. I think you see them take a 5-year hiatus, and I think then you'll see them come back with newer people, or maybe the same people but now older, and you'll see a more different story because you can't retell these stories again. You cannot tell Captain America, the first Avenger, the same way again. So I think you're going to see them, take a 5-year gap. To rewrite and see how can we get Captain America back. Will we do it with what's his name? Will we see it with
Chris Evans?
No, the other guy.
Winter Soldier?
Yeah, Winter Soldier. Or if you'll see Falcon become Captain America.
I'd rather see a different interpretation. I would like to see the story of his origin done differently. I thought the execution of the World War II scenes in the first Avenger were garbage. I thought it looked awful. The budget nearly wasn't as much as it is now. I didn't like the way it was lit and just the I don't know what to say on the camera. The lens or whatever they used was very dark and had this weird look. It didn't look like... I like movies that are shot on film, which obviously today's day and age most films are shot digitally. But every now and then you get a movie like J.J. Abrams. A lot of his movies are actually shot on film, and it has a different look to it. And I would like that movie specifically.
Like if they do the flashback scenes, like they shoot those in film.
I would just like the whole movie to be shot in film. I think the new Star Wars movies do that, and they look really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, Star Wars does that. JJ did that with the last Star Wars movie. I think they did it with Rian Johnson's movie as well.
I hope so.
That's interesting.
Yeah. All right, so that's enough for Star Wars. Let's talk about Avengers Infinity War. So we're going to do all spoilers now for the next 10 minutes, try and recap what we have left, and then we'll give away those
10
tickets.
minutes left?
No, we got 20, but we got to give away tickets
All right.
to the Cradle of Aviation's
By the way,
CradleCon.
you are listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. This is Nerdvana, available on podcast as well. If you missed any earlier stuff we talked about, get on podcast. You can go on Spreaker and you can listen to this.
Get
whole
on up
thing.
on that podcast.
Yeah.
Get out of my personal space.
All right, let's talk a little more about Avengers Infinity War. I think, last week we kind of recapped who our favorite characters were, what we enjoyed, and we were kind of halfway through the movie. We just got to, I want to say, Gamora's death. So Gamora gets thrown off and sacrificed so Thanos could get the Soul Stone. And, that was pretty jarring. That was the one death that actually shocked me, because we all knew Loki was going to die. We all knew Idris Elba's character was going to die in that one scene. Anybody who died after the finger snap is coming back, so that wasn't really shocking. I'm really, up in the air as if they bring back Gamora. I hope they do, because I thought she's a really cool character, and there's a lot to be done with her. I would say 95% she's coming back.
I don't think so. I really don't, because it's like I said, he gave her up for the Soul Stone. The only way to get her back would be for Thanos to willingly give the Soul Stone back up. I
don't know how it works. I think if they break open, I heard a great theory. If they break open the Soul Stone, Gamora will be released, because she's trapped in there. So when they saw that flashback scene, that was kind of her, in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, but at the same time, who's to say her body is going to be all right? They don't even
She's
know.
just paralyzed.
Yeah,
I'm Gamora
forever. And they don't even know where she is.
It's a comic book movie. She'll be back. I think she'll be back.
I don't think so, because the whole point of the Soul Stone is you got to give that up for good.
Well, Thanos we might see some redemption. He isn't, one of those characters that's just a mindless, supervillain. He does have some thought. I do think he cares about Gamora, as we saw.
Of course he does.
So I do see
But he
some
cares
form
about
of
his
redemption.
Vision more.
I don't know. We'll see. Oh, he cares about Vision's stone that he ripped out.
That's not the only Vision he cares about.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you could tell that he cared about Gamora, because if the Soul Stone
He was crying,
required,
too.
if the Soul Stone required that someone killed someone you love to be able to wield the Soul Stone, obviously since he killed Gamora and got the Soul Stone, he did actually love her. So obviously he cared. Obviously he loves her and cares about her, and so much that he visited her in the Soul Stone. If you really didn't like the person, then you wouldn't go out of your way to stop your plans to go visit her while you have an axe in your chest. That's just me.
Let's move to the post-axing. So the famous scene, they're all the memes about it. Thanos gets all the Infinity Stones. He snaps his fingers, and then half of humanity is erased. And he does this.
Half of humanity, half of all life in the universe is erased.
Is that not humanity?
No.
Okay,
No,
then
no.
half of life in the
There's only
universe.
humans on Earth, as far as we know.
As far as we know. Now, why do they all speak English in all these other worlds and these? How are you able to breathe on other planets? They never explain that.
It's a comic book movie.
But how?
It's
So
it's a comic book movie.
after he snaps his fingers, I personally did not like the scene. I thought this was the worst scene in the movie, of everyone vanishing away into the dust. It really, did nothing for me emotionally, because we knew these characters that are vanishing are not dead for good, so it had no impact. It kind of lessened the blow of, the others' deaths before this, because, obviously Black Panther's coming back, obviously Spider-Man's coming back, they have sequels lined up, billion-dollar franchises. They're not going to kill them off.
I've actually been reading something pretty crazy about some future stuff. So if you want, I can go into some of this. Some of this is really deep, going into the next phase entirely of Marvel, which actually, Justin, I think you were right. I don't think they're going to take any breaks or anytime soon, because if this is what I'm reading is true, they have content for years. So of all the things that go on in Infinity War, a lot of questions being asked. The first big one, obviously, is who survives and who dies behind the scenes, and we can get into that in a second. But in space,
No one can hear you scream.
Yes, but apparently in the next Captain Marvel movie, which is the big movie they're saying, is like this is going to be the biggest movie because it's going to set up Thanos' real defeat, like the real hero that's going to defeat Thanos, which
I hope not.
I hope not, because I think Thor should be the one to do it at this point.
I think if anyone should be Iron Man. He's the guy who started this. I think he sacrifices.
Joe and I